I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the
St. Louis Arch, baby. And apparently you can go up in it. And this, Missouri, state number 36 for me, baby.
Get us live. Missouri, featuring a picture of Iceland. Yes. Good to be back. Good to be back. It's been a while. Yeah, I actually haven't spoke to you in a while either.
Yeah, I'm just busy doing other podcasts now. Nothing to do with F1.
Yeah, nothing to do with anything you've dreamt of, really. But, you know, we're here. The good news is I have been to Missouri twice since we last spoke. So
amazing. I
feel like we're well placed to discuss this state today.
Yeah, Sam thought we'd already done a podcast on Missouri. He was like, oh, Claire, can you just edit that podcast? I was like, we haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'd really enjoyed the research and being stuck in St. Louis for a period by myself. I went at the start of the month, I was in St. Louis. At the end of the month, I was in Kansas City. Mixed reviews, I'd say. The first, Claire, how would you pronounce the state that we're discussing today?
Missouri.
Yeah. So a lot of people from there call it Missoura. They're like, oh, I'm from Missouri or Missou. And so Missouri, Missou, and Missouri. And I think it's because they used to call the river... No, because it's the Mississippi. So I can't help you there.
Wait, can we just go back to Kansas City? Is this a really blonde thing to say, but surely that's in Kansas?
Common misconception that there is only one. There is two Kansas cities, Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. They are close to each other, but you want to make sure you're in the right one. And I have been scared of that heading to multiple meetings.
Yeah, so surely, so what you're saying is that there is a Kansas City and then the border of the state like goes between the two and kind of splits up? Or are you saying there's just two completely separate Kansas cities that aren't attached and unrelated?
No, so they are next to each other, but they are far enough away that it's kind of like St. Paul and Minneapolis, both kind of the twin cities that are like one thing. It's not the end of the world if you get it wrong. You can drive between the two, but they are separated.
I just don't understand why it's called Kansas City. That makes no sense.
Well, they just have separate governments and stuff, but...
This is exactly what I thought it was.
They're 3 miles apart.
So what's in the middle of it?
A river, I think. Could you guess the states that it borders, that Missouri borders?
Shall I admit I'm literally looking at a map?
Yes, at that point, because it's a shitload of states. It is a shitload of states.
Okay, off the top of my head.
No,
Iowa.
No,
okay, no, I wouldn't actually know this. If I'm from like not having looked at it at all until today, state, I'd say that I literally wouldn't even know like if it was northwest, south or east. It sounds like the Midwest only because of Dope Sick TV series I've started watching.
Yeah, though isn't that West Virginia?
Yeah, but it mentions Missouri as well.
Okay, I love Dope Sick. I actually wanted to become an Oxy sales rep after seeing it.
Literally
that was a
the
joke.
entire problem.
In all seriousness, I have seen that series 8 times. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, it's so good. Because it was on Disney Plus, I think it put a lot of people off originally, especially like adults.
Main reason you don't want to go on Disney Plus, if your wife dies of a food allergy and you have subscribed to with Disney Plus, if she dies of a food allergy at Disney, you can't then sue them. There is a man who's going through that right now. His wife died of some kind of food allergy at a Disney park. He went to sue them and can't because when he signed up for Disney Plus, he basically waived those rights. So they're like, he's like, what? How is this even relevant?
That's actually incredible, isn't it? You've got to respect them. The thing is, though, this is just because the whole suing culture's gone off. If it was a normal suing culture, they wouldn't have had to go to those extremes, but they've probably just had to literally cover their arses in every single term that people sign up to.
Exactly. If we're going to kill you with a food allergy, there's no way we're going to court about it. So just tie that in. Also,
what's the full story? Like, did they bring in their own meal into the park, or was it served on the resort?
No, I don't think they're suing them for their packed lunch.
But that's ridiculous if they can't sue them for like food that was served there.
Well, yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'm not allergic to anything, so I have no understanding, very little.
Going back to the dope stick thing, they mentioned Missouri a couple of times as like one of the first states where they rolled it out, and I wasn't really sure. I didn't really want to ruin it by googling it, but I wasn't really sure how based on truth the series is.
No, so it is fairly truth-based. And actually, to plug our West Virginia episode, that is why I went on my West Virginia road trip through the Appalachian Mountains, because I watched Dope Sick and wanted to find pill mills. So, like the doctors that were prescribing all the pills. So it did, like, it was pretty heavy in West Virginia, but basically anywhere that was deindustrialized or closed down coal mines, i.e. coal community, like poor communities, go and sell them a bunch of oxy. So that was sad. Speaking of industrial decline, this is quite interesting because St. Louis is kind of fucked. Like, everyone is leaving St. Louis. St. Louis is one of the fastest declining cities in the United States. Like, people are leaving. It kind of, like, to me, it feels like it's deteriorating more rapidly than like a Detroit. However, Kansas City, if you want to go to like these middle cities in America, that is where you find like the real money. Like, I'm talking Tulsa, I'm talking Kansas City. These are ones where you find just guys who you've never heard of with massive trucks and tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of oil or cattle money. Like, they are cool. I got to Kansas City and I was like, this place stinks of money. It has more fountains than Rome. And I didn't see a single one. That's just a fact. They call it the Fountain City. I didn't see a single fucking one.
Oh, well, how do you know that then?
I researched it. Before I go to these places, I research it. I was like, oh, the Fountain City. No, actually, tell a lie. I did see one. But Kansas City, great. The barbecue, great. Like, I felt constantly sick and full. They have this thing in the US, the hotter the heat, the higher the aircon. What that means is that if you're going somewhere extremely hot, like I was in Phoenix the other day, bring like a coat, because you're going to be absolutely freezing inside. Like, I got on this coach in Kansas City, and the lady goes, I got it like a refrigerator in here. You want me to crank up the AC? I crank it right up. And I was thinking, I am so cold. Like, my nipples hurt.
Yeah, that was like in Australia as well. Like, we would go on, you know, the Greyhound, like the thing that the bus that everyone goes on to get around Australia. Yeah. And obviously you go from like desert heat into a fridge, and then you're sitting on that coach for like 17 hours. And if you've been like running for the coach and haven't prepared properly and all of your warm clothes are like downstairs with your bag, then you're fucked. I think you could actually get hypothermia on those buses. And everyone gets off and is like thawing out.
Yeah, horrible. Actually, coming back to the UK this week, one of the things I've been really pleased to see is more air conditioning units on suburban houses in the UK.
Was that your house?
That was not my house, no. That was my mum's friend's house.
Wow.
Just had to drop a little something round, run some errands, you know, classic, like, home stuff. But it was great. I was like, wow, they've got aircon. See that dispenser on the front of the refrigerator? Oh, thank God. Like, bring us the filtered water and the ice. This is what the people of Great Britain need. We have had enough of warm fucking water. I don't want it.
We've had those dispensers on fridges for years. Since
Not
X Factor
common.
was about.
Yeah, not common, not everywhere, and we should. The other thing that I'm missing is big appliances.
I bet you
Big
bought that fridge for your parents.
No, but I did say please get one with filtered water and ice.
Please, Daddy.
Please, Daddy. I've never called my dad Daddy. Actually, that's one of the biggest icks. If you ever
What, when
go
you were
on
a
date-
toddler? And you were like,
Never.
father?
I call him Ads, short for Andy.
Was that
Like,
your first word?
nah. I think the reason why I did it was to strip him of all authority. If
Yeah.
you call them by not only their first name but an abbreviated name,
Yeah.
immediately he has zero authority. Despite the fact, here I am in his home.
Yeah, you were one of those kids. I would have got really told off for that.
You would? Also, a lot of people say that they don't like that kink of being called daddy. I should be almost insulted. No one has ever called me daddy.
No, because no one likes it. But that is weird because I think it's an American thing. And you do get with a lot of Americans, so...
No, I don't get with a lot of Americans. That's untrue. I probably get with like a smaller number of people than the average person and just so happen to live in America. But
That's
I have
so
not
untrue.
I have not been called daddy, disappointingly.
Well,
Maybe I'm not giving off those vibes. People never say
no, I don't
like,
think it's you. I think it's when the other person has daddy or mummy issues.
yeah, I know.
That's
but
when they want you to be that like figurehead that they never had.
I've been with girls from broken homes.
I seek them out. It's a main requirement on Hinge.
Well, I
That
don't
should
know
be an
how you feel.
option.
Yeah, they do have a lot of filters nowadays. I mean, I'm not paying for premium at the moment. And actually, I recently got back on Hinge and it's going badly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because,
Because you're back in Cheltenham.
well, no, so I haven't been... So, was on it, and the thing is, I don't recognise the fact that people don't know me, right? All they have to go on is a few messages. So the other day, I said to this girl, she had a bunch of great things on her profile, like skiing, has her own business, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, this is a bit of a standout one. Anyway, if you want to kill a conversation, send them a 3-minute video of you walking around an airport with the phone basically up your fucking nose. Like, have a bit of self-awareness. I'm just like, you'd get that video. And the thing is, if you think about it, you'd go like, would I respond to that if I was on the other end? You'd be like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be involved in whatever this fucking mess is. So it's been it's been a learning experience.
I think you're too comfortable in yourself, which I think is a good thing. But I reckon once you get to know you, and a lot of girls are probably quite intimidated by that if they don't know you. Probably think you're weird.
Yeah, they would. And I'm in kind of two minds as to whether, you should just be yourself from the outset.
You should
or
be
not.
yourself. And I don't think you're going to find someone on Hinge. Because there are odds with you being yourself.
Yeah, I need an account manager for my Hinge. So if anyone is interested in that role, preferably female, so they can, have some kind of sense of what women like, as opposed to... I mean, the fact we're doing this is not great, right? Because even you put, I have this link. People come straight to my Insta, do a bit of due diligence, click on it, and then see a video like this, and they're like, "What the actual fuck?" Like,
I
no.
actually don't. I haven't told my boyfriend about this. Like, as
Yeah.
in, I've not been hiding it. He knows I do a podcast with Sam. He just doesn't know what it's called. And I just don't think he's actively gone to look because I don't think he wants to give himself the ick.
No, you don't want to give yourselves the ick. You don't, and you will. You will. I give myself the ick, even doing this.
Constantly.
But I mean, my life's kind of icky. Like, if I picture my life even in Missouri, I'm sat just in multiple restaurants by myself, just staring into space. I don't think it's acceptable to have headphones on in a restaurant, so I'm always just sat there, like, effectively, the whole raw dogging a flight thing? I'm just raw dogging restaurants. Just
Oh,
sat
we
there.
should talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my immediate thought with that was, do you think it's appropriate for, like, serious news outlets to be using the word raw dogging on a headline? Do they know what it means? Like, does BBC know what raw dogging means?
I have personally no time for the BBC or the British government with regards to free speech anyway. No, because it's important, because we're likely to end up in jail as a result of this podcast. There is no
Fuck
First
the
Amendment.
communists.
Yeah, fuck the communists. There is no free speech in this country. We will likely be jailed as a result of this podcast. You know what they'll say? They'll say, Claire Gething-Lewis, you are a member of the far right. And then they will take you to jail. They will let out someone who's probably murdered children, and they will put us in there for this podcast where we will be set upon by a grooming gang and killed. Like,
I'm not a far right. I voted Green.
You voted Green? Well, I voted for most political parties, but I haven't voted for that.
Tory, Green, Labour, Brexit.
Yeah, I voted to remain and then for the Brexit party.
This is it. We've just been forgotten. With floaters on the fringes.
We are, and that's why Keir Starmer will inevitably lock us up for this. He will say, I've had enough of your shit. Oh, in all seriousness, though, like, I'm constantly torn. When I'm here, I miss America, and when I'm in America, I miss here. But one thing that genuinely does scare me is, I think, if I were to ever have children, I'm like, I would like them to grow up in a country where they can say what they think. And we actually don't have free speech here. You're like, people don't know that. Like, you have no right to free speech here. You just have to do what you're told. The other thing that I'll tell you about Britain that's pissing me off, the volume of potholes and weeds.
Oh, it's bad.
Can someone please get the street cleaners back? Where have they gone?
Oh, it's so bad, Sam. Yesterday, Mum's got a new Audi, which I was borrowing, and I crashed into a car a little bit yesterday when I was reversing.
Just a little.
Yeah, as in it's like, I'm scared. I don't know where she is. It's scratched it a little bit, and I was really umming and ahhing whether to tell her. I told her, but I said that it was a pothole that then caused a branch to like scrape it. Because they're so bad at the moment. But then I got really paranoid last night, and I was worried about CCTV at the gym, and I had so many dreams about getting arrested. Yeah, I'm paranoid.
Yeah, well, they will arrest you for that. You're far right. Take her out the pothole and throw her in jail.
Most people are concerned about their kids not seeing polar bears, and Sam's like, my child won't have free speech.
My child won't have free speech. It's terrifying.
We need to get a girlfriend first.
Why do I need a girlfriend? No,
we're talking about children.
Yeah, I know, but they're likely to use her against me to say, like, we've kidnapped your wife.
Yeah.
You can no longer speak freely. Otherwise, we're going to kill her. And I'll be like, welcome to communist Britain. Thanks very much.
Sam doesn't even smoke that much weed anymore. Like, I don't know where his thoughts come from.
These come from being a person and existing. Because if you Google Free Speech Britain, none of the mainstream media report on it. It is effectively a cartel. So I don't appreciate it.
I don't want to Google that.
Well,
my work laptop.
No, you should.
Well,
that's the thing.
Party.
Yeah. We're just. Anyway, it's terrifying. So, if you want to be free, go to Missouri. Your house price will decline. Yeah, exactly. Your house price will aggressively decline, but you will at least be able to say what you want before you are then shot. Lol. Speaking of which, did you see that picture I sent you of the Citizen app?
No, Sam just literally bulleted about 50 pictures my way a minute before we started. So no, I haven't downloaded them all yet.
So here I was in St. Louis. And this is the Citizen app that shows you all of the crimes that are going on nearby you. So, you can be aware. And if you click on them and you have a premium account, people are like live streaming it. So you're like, oh, look, shooting down the road. Yeah, it's a brilliant app. But I will tell you, that is not great. That is a lot of shootings and robberies and carjackings.
Is that live?
That is within the last 4 hours. Yeah.
I guess it is a bit later there.
It was a bit. This isn't live now. This is a screenshot taken from last week because I took myself on a little walk. I was like, I'm going to kill myself in this hotel if I don't get out. And that's why I sent you the video of the guys walking around in the armoured vests. I was like, this feels like overkill. And then when I was on Citizen app, I was like, no, this actually feels entirely appropriate. Where's my bulletproof vest? Speaking of which...
It's amazing you still want to live there.
Oh, I love it. I want free speech.
Over guns.
Well, you can't have the First Amendment without the Second.
Oh, no, yeah. You're right.
That's why they've come...
We will be more cancelled for talking about guns on this podcast.
That's why they've come for us in Britain, because we don't have the right to keep and bear arms.
Sam, we'd be so fucked if we did. The country's so hungry for violence at the moment. We'd be so fucked. We can do enough damage with knives.
I actually have some top tips for people looking to defend themselves, because I've gone down this wormhole. You're basically not really allowed to carry self-defense weapons in the UK. It's kind of ridiculous. So first off, I'd recommend getting yourself to a Krav Maga place, learn some basic self-defense. Great. The second thing I would recommend, you are not allowed to carry pepper spray in the UK, which feels bad, right? Like, that feels bad. Pepper spray is a great tool for, girls like you, if you're walking around at night, to be able to defend yourself from a violent offender. But one thing you are allowed in the UK that is as vicious, if not more, wasp spray. So, get yourself down to the local Home Depot or whatever, B&Q here, I guess, and buy a shitload of wasp spray. Someone tries to come at you for a bit of a violent attack of some form, wasp spray in the face. We don't have pepper spray, but that's your next best solution, I think.
And are those your 2 tips?
They're my 2 tips, because if you carry a baseball bat or something, you have to basically know that you're on the way to sports to come up with some kind of expert.
It's a bit big.
Yeah, but I mean in your car, something like that.
Yeah, okay. I got round that.
The other thing you could do is book in a DIY job every day and carry around a hammer in your tool belt. But you would have to have some DIY jobs.
The thing is, I think I'll be all right in Herefordshire.
Well, you say that now.
A few pesky campers. But the wasp spray is interesting. I didn't know that. You should definitely do Insta Live on this. I think people in, the more built-up parts of England will be more keen to know stuff like that.
Oh, in East London, we're going to need that. We're going to need more than bloody wasp spray in East London. The fact that I need 2 things to feel safe there. I need armed security and bulletproof glass. Because the thing is, you can 3D print a gun now anyway. So it's like anyone... The worst thing is, it's actually worse that people don't have guns in Britain. And I'll tell you why. Because when people go to commit shootings, they are not well practiced. The probability that they go and shoot just a random person is far higher. Because that 14-year-old who shoots you in East London, when he goes to shoot whatever gang member, that is probably the first time he's ever shot a gun. The probability that he shoots my mum in the face is significantly higher than him hitting his, assigned target.
The thing is, I don't agree with having guns in Britain. But that is one drawback. Drawback.
I will interpret that as you are against free speech and the freedom of the people. But we can work with that. The other thing I will tell you about Missoura.
Let's go back to Missoura.
This whole thing's been about Missoura. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that it fought on both sides of the Civil War. Fascinating.
Well, of course it did. It's got Kansas City split into 2.
That is not why. I think it's one of the governors decided to form a militia, which is actually brings me back to the Second Amendment once again, the right to form a well-armed militia. This is the thing. It's not my words. It's in the Constitution. Bring it up with the Founding Fathers, of which...
Well, some people think the right to bear arms is literally about bears.
Who the fuck thinks that?
The anti-gun lobby.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it was home to, I think Truman came from Missouri, the president.
That's cool.
It was home to the world's first pre-made pancake mix.
Oh my God, that has changed my life.
Oh, so good. I don't think
That
they
has
have
literally changed my life.
I know, although I don't know where to find it anymore because they can't call it Aunt Bessie's because it's racist.
No, I didn't know that. But no, they're it's everywhere. I don't know if because I only ever really looked for them around February, pancake time. But yeah, they're in every shop.
What is the relevance of that to Jesus? The pancakes.
I don't know. Like I know that okay. So he started his like 40 days of exile in the desert where he didn't eat or drink on Lent. He started it then, right? He'd got a bit too into Joe Rogan and was fasting. Yeah.
Preparing for a fight. Or a big work session, some mental clarity. We're fasting.
Yeah. So he went on his fast, and I think the idea became, I don't know whether it was like with Jesus or after it, where people would like use what they had left in the cupboards and have a big feast before that.
Jesus had cupboards.
Jesus definitely didn't do this. I think this was then in like Middle Ages.
Oh, that's a bit of history I never had any interest in being alive in.
I agree. I'm glad I wasn't alive for the Black Death, but I am fascinated by it all the same. Like Shakespeare times.
Nah, crusty. Like the clothes are crusty.
Yeah.
I would have rather been around in the Roman times. I would have gone to the spa with the boys, given each other a little blowjob, and then gone off to the gladiators. It would have been great.
You are right. Like it is weird how they went from such grand buildings and uniforms and whatnot to then just like sacks and rags.
And throwing piss and shit out the window just into the street.
Okay, yeah. So it is medieval Europe, and it's the day of feasting and repentance before the start of Lent, which was when Jesus fasted. So I was kind of right.
One thing I did want to bring up with you that's related to Missouri, but unrelated to Jesus. Is the brothel law.
What, is it legal there?
No, worse. 4 unrelated women, according to the brothel law, and I don't believe that it's enforced anymore, but it is still a law, 4 unrelated women cannot live together because they then suspect that house is a brothel.
Mad.
So this exists in some other states. However, I'm pretty sure there are some loopholes because sorority houses still exist.
I was about to say, yeah, like what about students? And then what if you had 4 kids? Oh, unrelated, sorry.
Yeah, and to half children.
Foster kids.
If you have 4 children from 4 separate fathers.
I'm getting on my stand-up desk. The time has come.
I love that. People are like, oh, I'm so unhealthy. Let me get a standing desk.
It works. Look, I'm doing steps.
Have you got a walking treadmill?
No, I've just got a phone with steps on it. What else is there in Missouri then?
So have you seen the St. Louis Arch?
No.
So
I have heard St. Louis is nice, by the way.
Well, it's not.
Oh.
Kansas City is nice. St. Louis is in rapid decline. Like, there's a couple of streets that look quite nice, but I wouldn't recommend buying property there. And it has this big arch, and you can walk through it. I have not done it, because if you go on YouTube and watch a video of inside the St. Louis Arch, it is the most claustrophobic tourist experience I have ever seen. This is like going into a miniature spacecraft, but a big arch. I frankly can't do that in 100+ degrees heat. That sounds fucking terrifying. So I looked at it, I was like, that's great, I'm not going in it.
So is it hot then?
It was hot when I was there. It was like 110.
I don't know what that means.
Like 38 Celsius.
Oh my God, that is boiling. I've just had a look at this arch, by the way. So I just saw the outside of it and was like, how the fuck are you claustrophobic in in this, and then I realised you can go in it. It looks horrible. It looks like a plane terminal inside.
It's terrifying. It's frankly terrifying. Oh, the other fun fact I have for you: Missouri is. Do you know their state animal?
An elephant.
It is a mule.
Is it a donkey?
I did not so I thought this, but I did some research prior to this. We come prepared. It's a female horse bred with a donkey instead of mule.
I didn't know that. I actually only thought it was called a mule because it was like helping you.
No, it's not because of that. I don't know why Salesforce is new, or it's not even new, old product. It's called MuleSoft. Always made me think of a donkey, which I don't really want my software to be.
Yeah, exactly, because it's like a slave, isn't it?
Well,
so like does all the work for you, maybe.
That's true, but you still got I'd rather have a truck than a mule, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a smelly name.
There's the other thing I will tell you is that Missouri is known as the cave state because it has 6,100 caves.
I hate caves.
You hate caves? You won't
I
like Missouri.
hate caves. I think they are so shit.
Well, there's
they
a lot of
stink.
There's a lot of porous limestone there, so there's a lot of caves.
Yeah.
Oh my god! In fact, there's a cave so big in the around the edge of the Ozarks, the lake, which is actually has a bigger coastline than the whole state of California, the Ozarks. But interestingly, they flew a hot air balloon in a cave. The cave was that big.
Oh my god. I'm going to have a look at this. I was thinking I might quite like that cave because it would be bigger, but I still don't like the look of that.
All caves look the same, that's all.
Well, when you're inside, they do.
Well, I don't know that that's true. Have you been to Wookiee Hole?
No. I have been to a few caves. I think I've been to one too many caves. I went to the really famous ones in Malaysia that had tens of thousands of people outside of it. It was so shit.
This is actually a good time to call out my friend Piers, who went on his honeymoon around England. So he's a Brit, but he grew up in Indiana and has married an American. And for their honeymoon, they travelled around the UK. Great. They are the only people I know to have stayed in the Wookiee Hole. Yeah, but also to have stayed in the Wookiee Hole Hotel, but not visited Wookiee Hole. They must have been, that's like going to stay in the Alton Towers hotels, but not going to Alton Towers. So I was like, that's kind of weird, mate. And he was like, it's because Glastonbury was on. And they wanted to go to see Glastonbury, but didn't have tickets to the festival. I was like, get yourself the fuck out of there. There's going to be way too much traffic. So they went to the Wookiee Hole Hotel, but did not visit Wookiee Hole. Disappointing.
That is so funny. Can we talk a bit more about the opioid crisis in Missouri? Or just in America in general? So I was looking a little bit into this, and the biggest cause of death for under 35-year-olds in the UK is, unsurprisingly,
suicide?
Yeah. Which maybe says a lot about the UK as a place to live. America, so this is what I found interesting. In Missouri, the biggest cause of death for under 44-year-olds is drug overdoses, right? But it's ranked 32 out of all the states for drug overdoses, so it's not even that bad.
But I think that might not be oxy. I think that's fentanyl.
Yeah, it is fentanyl. I think it's opioids in general. So opioids account for 70% of these drug overdoses. So it's it's all of those combined, including heroin as well. But it just surprised me that it's ranked 32nd of the worst states for drug overdoses, yet it's still the biggest cause of death, i.e. all of those states before it, the biggest cause of death must be drug overdoses. So, it's so much more fucked than I thought in America.
That's actually such a good point. If you want to do cocaine a lot, you should come to the UK instead of America. You can do cocaine far more safely here.
Really? Why?
Well, yeah, I would be high, like, let's suppose you came to America and you were like, oh, should we get a bag of blow? I'd be like, can we not? Because you know,
it's illegal.
well, A, it's illegal, but also the probability that you get something that isn't, like, is going to kill you in some other way is not nothing. Whereas in the UK, I don't think I know, and I'm not advocating it, but I don't think I know of a single person who's died of fentanyl here. And the people of Cheltenham absolutely love cocaine. If you go to a pub in Cheltenham, you're like, why does everyone need a poo? No one is lining up for that toilet to go for a poo. Everyone is going to do blow in the toilet. Which,
So you're saying it's safer than opioids?
No, I'm saying if you want to do cocaine, probably don't do cocaine in America.
Why? Because it's laced with fentanyl. Okay, I see what you mean. But then it kind of makes me want to try it because I'm like, what could be so addictive? I don't have a very addictive personality.
Yeah, although I think the problem with fentanyl is that such a small amount can kill you, like almost nothing. So it's kind of like, we don't want that. We're looking for a good time, not the final time. Not yet. Not yet. If I'm diagnosed with something like, you know, a terminal illness that's making my life quite unpleasant, then I'll be like, get me all the fentanyl or send me to Switzerland.
I agree.
But until that point comes, I haven't quite reached the point where I'm looking to top myself. Not yet.
Yeah. But I've always thought about heroin when people do it once and then they're like hooked for life. Like, I just can't imagine there ever being any feeling in the world, because I would just be like, no, I want to spend the next night reading my book and watching Netflix. Like, I wouldn't want to do that twice.
Do you remember when Yeah, that's just you. Why would you not repeat good experiences? When I had that little moped, or like, which is for Americans is basically not a scooter, it's like a miniature motorbike.
Mini motorbike, yeah.
I had that accident. They sorted me out with some liquid morphine or oral morphine, and I'd lie in bed, I'd put on The Apprentice, I'd take it, and then it'd be like me just watching The Apprentice with my eyes rolling back. Never made it past the intro. Like honestly, some of the happiest days of my life. Anyone who wants to tell me that is, well, you say that, it should have been highly unpleasant, because before that you're like, my foot's on fire. You're like, my foot is on fire, my leg's on fire. This is the most unpleasant I've ever been or felt. And then you take that and you're just like, and honestly, it was comfy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's sad. Pain relief is a good thing, and like, if that's what it's used for. I'm saying it's sad that a lot of people genuinely do think that the best days of their life are caused by a drug, essentially. It's sad that we can't make that from just, I don't know. Mine would be related to. I have a really short-term memory, so I would say like one day on my ski season like stands out for me. Like one day traveling with Izzy stands out for me, and I don't think any of them included alcohol or anything like that.
Good for you.
They did include shrooms.
Yeah.
Actually.
So you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying it's sad that we've come to this, because it's true.
Yeah, well, it's not just us though. They did used to have the opium like cafes in London. Like you've seen that film Inception.
It's always been about improving life experiences. Always, probably since we were cave people.
Always.
They'll look for a high or a way out of their boring lives.
Speaking of improving life experiences,
go on.
This has improved my life experiences. Introducing Zin.
Sam, we plugged this on the last podcast.
Sponsored by Zin.
Go on.
And actually, this is one interesting thing. Zyn in America, so this is a 6 milligram nicotine, and they go up to 12. The UK ones are 12 as standard. And if you go into Eastern Europe, I think you can get some 24s and 36s. That sounds absolutely horrifying. Your palms get a little bit sweaty off a 6. I don't think we need a 36 ever. That's like, what, 12? 12 of those? Seems a bit much. But, well, I think what we've learned from those statistics is that if you live in Missouri, you don't need to do drugs because you can just go and make yourself feel, you know, a bit scared in the St. Louis Arch.
Have we returned from the advert now?
No, the whole thing's sponsored by Zyn.
Okay. I'm so confused. Well, I want to sponsor something useful to me if we're going to get freebies. Some more eyebrow dye.
Do you dye your eyebrows? Nice. I quite like it when girls have the dark eyebrows, and particularly the brushing thing that they're doing nowadays.
I do look good with them.
What's your thoughts on lip filler?
Got no money for it.
But do you like it?
No.
That's bullshit.
No, I don't. It's a catch-22. So when people have done it so well that it's natural, you don't know that they've got it done. And I've never seen anyone with that. I've only ever seen the ones that look awful.
Okay, fair.
Like Molly May was the whole prime of lip filler era, wasn't she? Like the start of it. And she got hers taken out. She was like, they're disgusting.
Let's speak about Molly May for a moment.
What, should we talk about her and Tommy?
Can we have a moment of silence, please? This is serious.
Who was that? Okay, I can't not speak for that long.
You were over it?
I think I was over it when she took her wedding ring off, like last year. I knew.
Last year?
At the end. Yeah. Maybe it was this year. I don't know. This year has been broken up into so many segments, I'm confused. But someone accused Tommy of cheating, and then she was next seen without her ring on, and then she announced like something has happened, but we're okay now, and I knew that was the end.
I know girls.
Also, I never really cared.
I know girls who have been crying about this.
Who?
No, I won't name names, but
English.
both. Yeah, they're all English actually.
It's so weird how invested people get in strangers.
So I heard them recently compare it to the death of Princess Diana.
Yeah.
I thought that's a bit unreal, unreasonable. One of them died in a tunnel. May or may not be an assassination. Oh, I'm going to get locked up for that as well. Just tell them where I am. Throw me away now. But
Oh God.
yeah, people were comparing it to the death of Diana, and I thought, I never wanted them to win Love Island anyway. When people were like, "Oh, they're my favourite."
They didn't win.
No, but people were rooting for them. That's why they came runner-up or something.
I remember this so clearly. Everyone thought Molly May was fake. Everyone thought Molly May was fake, and that she would bid off Tommy. And she had her little groupies, but most of England launched a Twitter campaign to vote for Greg and Amber, who'd been together for like a week, and they won. And I was one of the people that voted for Greg and Amber, so...
That's good. Have you been watching the most recent Love Island?
No, I stopped. I couldn't keep up after I kept going travelling, so...
Oh, God's
I know.
sake. Middle class issues.
How did Joey do? He'll be on the Traitors next.
You'd hope so, but I think he's happily in a relationship now. You know, that man has done more for this generation than anyone else. I've got not a single bad word to say about Joey Essex. He's responsible for me wearing Ugg boots as a teenager, mugs as they were known. Man Uggs. I'm glad to see that I could give something back, and he's copied my haircut. So we've come.
You copied Brad Pitt.
Wow.
From Mr. and Mrs. Mrs. From Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I know. Someone said to me in St. Louis Airport, "Oh, he looks like Brad Pitt," and I'm like, "Yeah, like a cheap fucking Brad Pitt." And they were like,
"Yeah, you do annoyingly look like a cheap Brad Pitt."
Yeah. Which I guess I'd rather be a cheap Brad Pitt than like a cheap, barefoot Contessa, that female fat chef with the gay husband called Jeffrey. I'd rather look like a cheap Brad Pitt, but it's still not. It's still not what I was. Why the cheap?
Oh, shut up, Sam! You fucking love it.
Oh,
Who wouldn't love being called Brad Pitt? I remember when the the Brad Pitt suggestion first came out my mouth when we were travelling in America in 2018. I remember it. I remember the exact moment. I think I had one too many bongs, and I said, Sam, you look a bit like Brad Pitt. And you went, oh, yeah, stop it.
And that was the first time we kissed. With the dry bong mouth.
Yeah.
The dry bong mouth.
It was the only moisture I could find.
Exactly. Spit in her mouth. Have you ever had anyone spit in your mouth?
Yeah.
How was it?
I would say, oh my God, I absolutely hate it, by the way. But it's only ever been done as an annoying fucking joke that they want to make sex for. And I'm like, no, I hate this so much. I'm being too honest.
Well,
I'm being too honest.
I appreciate it. I've never spat in anyone's mouth. I've thought about it a few
Don't do
times.
it. It's actually disgusting. I hate it.
Well, have you seen like the size of these lips? I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, look, you could have told me
Sam's
that.
got blowjob lips.
I've got dry smoothie on my mouth, but look, they get they get so dried up. They get so dried up anyway that I'm constantly just having to lick them. So the worst thing you can do, to be honest, is neck on with Sam holding after a night out. It'll be a dry experience. No one will enjoy it. Like
noted.
Yeah, seriously. Well, not that I ever go on a night out anyway.
I was about to say.
So it's kind of pointless.
Right, let's wrap up Missouri. I don't think we even got to the bottom of where it actually is in the States. Like, is it in Tornado Alley?
Yes, and it actually had America's worst tornado in the 1920s that killed like 600 people. But it's below Illinois. It also borders, I believe, Iowa, Nebraska. Oh, what the fuck is Iowa, Nebraska? If we go the other way, maybe there's a bit of Indiana that touches it. A little bit of Kentucky, I think. It's got a lot of states surrounding it. Hang on, let me get
Oklahoma. Did you say that one?
Oklahoma. Oh yeah, good point. Yeah,
Arkansas,
just in the
Tennessee,
Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Nice.
So would we call this the Midwest?
I would call it the Midwest, yeah. Well, that's all I've got for you. It's basically barbecue, oil, cows, one declining city, one very wealthy city, tornadoes, and a pretty cool river. But the most important thing that anyone could take away from this is that when someone says Missou, Missouri, they're all talking about the same fucking thing. That's all.
Thanks
so
much, though.
Well, that's all. Goodbye, everyone.
Join us again next time.
I think this city, after Detroit, has the fastest declining population in the United States. It's interesting.